AITA for refusing to answer my ILs when they call me Florence. My legal name is Flora, not Florence. My parents chose to use just Flora when I was born, and I always liked my name a lot. But for most of my life I have been Flory to most people. Even at work my coworkers call me Flory. I will answer to either Flora or Flory. And some people prefer to call me Flora, which I'm totally fine with. But ever since I first met my ILs 2 years ago, they have been so weird about my name. They started out by asking me 100 times if my name was actually Florence. Then they asked me why my parents chose to give me a nickname, Flora, as a legal name instead of the full name Florence, and call me Flora instead. But what really bothers them is the fact I use Flory and somewhat prefer it over Flora. They told me they cannot understand a professional woman using such a juvenile-sounding name. They said every time they hear the name they expect a 6-year-old and not a 28-year-old woman. My husband has been wonderful about shutting them down and telling them to stop and calling them out on being disrespectful. We have distanced ourselves from his parents due to this. But now whenever we see them at family functions they call me Florence. First time I really hoped they were talking to someone else. But no, it was me. My husband told me to ignore them if I wanted, and so I did. My husband's siblings all think their parents are being ridiculous, and all of them call me Flory, in an effort to piss their parents off. Some used to call me Flora and Flory, but even Flora doesn't exist to them now, lol. We were all together for a New Year's party and my husband's parents brought some friends. They and their friends all called me childish, among other things, for refusing to answer to Florence. My husband got so annoyed he went over to tell them they were being ridiculous when Florence isn't even my name. They told him Florence could be seen as just another nickname and I am being unreasonable and rude. I felt very called out, but honestly the anger and way they talked about me made me question if I am being a tad unreasonable and if I shouldn't just let them call me Florence. AITA? I would get packets about dementia and have an intervention. I'm so concerned that you cannot remember a name. Your memories are having issues. And I think you need to seek help. Every time they call you the wrong name, ask in a concerned voice, "Have you seen a doctor yet?" And explain to everyone that they are having memory issues. And everyone should encourage them to seek medical help. NTA. BTW. Do these people have any names that they find annoying if they are addressed with? 'Cause it seems like they won't change even if you kill them, so better just give them a dose of their own medicine. Pick a nickname for each of them and tell them it sounds really cute and that is what you're going to call them from now on. NTA. You call people the name they want to be called. Period. My mother made the mistake of not correcting a nickname with her in-laws, and 50 years later they still call her it. She doesn't like it, but it's not a big enough deal to her to bring it up. But it's basically the opposite of your issue. If her name was Florence, she prefers that, will accept Flora, but hates Flory. The fact that you have the siblings all following your wishes should be pretty damn clear to the parents they are in the wrong. NTA. Next time, look at them and say I was named after the Roman goddess of spring and flowers, Flora. She was married Zephyr, not after Florentius. It is not even the same meaning. Just keep this up. This will just make them look uneducated. You can ask your husband to start using the wrong name for his parents. Close name but the right one. NTA. I hate people like this. I have a name that can be turned into a few different nicknames, one of which I hate. And some people think it's hilarious to use that nickname to refer to me because they decided it's silly for me to dislike it. It is so incredibly disrespectful to call someone by not their name and to continue to do so after you've asked them to stop. They are being unreasonable and rude, to not respect you enough to call you by your actual name. NTA. It's not your name, and their obsession with it is absolutely absurd. I would just not see them at all, ever again. If they can't even do you the slightest level of respect as using your actual name, then they are worthless people. NTA. It's disrespectful what they are doing. It's not your name. You've asked them to stop and they don't respect you enough to care. It's time to start fighting fire with fire. Extend their names into something else and exclusively refer to them as such. It's Jim? No. It's now Jimothy. Or Mary? Oh. It just became Marybelline. Does not need to be a real name. NTA. If you would call your in-laws cheeseheads as a nickname, would they like it? You don't call people by a name they don't like. That's so disrespectful. I'm happy your husband has your back. I also know more people with the name Flora than Florence. And I prefer the origins of that name. So I don't understand why they are so stuck up about it. But yeah, my legal name is always mispronounced. So I might be biased, haha. If Mill is named, say, Susan, now she's Susanna. If Phil is Michael, now he's Mikey or Mikeo. Or Miguel. And have fun with it. Switch it up each time they call you Florence. NTA. Regardless. NTA. They're being absolutely ridiculous. And ask whomever is officiating your wedding to very clearly enunciate your name during vows. NTA. Where I come from, Flora is a name in itself in the calendar. I know 4 people called Flora. They would be also beyond mad for being called Florence. NTA. If they keep calling you Florence, then it's only fair that you get to give them a nickname as well. Okay, first off, using someone's actual name is just the most basic level of courtesy. Google a short story, My Name is Margaret, by Maya Angelou. It's a short read but very powerful. About respect for who we are. Next, your in-laws' obsession with your name is super creepy, bordering on a mental health issue. It's good your husband and the rest of his family has your back on this. FYI, my husband's great aunt was named Flora. It has always been a name unto itself. It's disturbing that your in-laws and their friends made a scene at the party over your name. They are some ill-mannered AH. You are NTA unless you let these unbalanced people have their own way. FYI, you could also start calling your in-laws the wrong names. I vote for Cruella for your mill lol. You must know the answer to your question as you are clearly NTA. 2 can play that game. Info. What are the in-laws' names? I'm sure we can come up with some good alternate names for you to use. Another nickname. Here's the thing. Even if this were somehow a valid argument, you still get to decide what nicknames people call you. There are people named James who don't answer to Jim. People named Elizabeth who don't answer to Liz. People don't get to arbitrarily decide what to call you and insist you accept it, regardless of whatever reasoning. NTA. NTA. Your name isn't Florence and they need to stop calling you that. NTA. Start calling them Joan and Fred or Mary and Bob or any 2 names that are not THRIR names. See how they like it. If they object, you can say, oh, I thought we were just calling each other whatever we wanted. There is no need to. Be polite and respectful to people who don't treat you the same way. NTA. Start calling them bitch and asshat and then tell them they're just nicknames and to stop being so unreasonable and rude. NTA. Flora is a real name. Your in-laws are weird. NTA. It a reasonable enough hill to die on and your husband has your back with his silly parents. Rock on. Up. NTA. Your in-laws and their friends sure are though. keep ignoring them. To piss them off even more, I'd start calling them all by a name that is similar to theirs, but not their actual name. See how they like it. If they keep up with their juvenile behavior, tell them you are going no contact with them until they give you a sincere apology and stop their childish and downright rude behavior. Because from what you've posted here, they are the only ones acting childish, juvenile or rude. I'm happy to hear that you have such a wonderful, supportive husband, because too many spouses would either take their parents' side, or say they are staying out of it, not taking sides, and that his siblings also treat you with respect.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.